Abraham Bram Stoker, most well known as the author of Dracula. Walt Whitman, poet. Known for like a million different poems, like Oh Captain, My Captain, but Leaves of Grass is like the big collection that most people will associate him with. Also gay, or bi, or somewhere under the LGBTQ plus umbrella. You've probably heard of one or both of these people before. You also might be wondering why the hell I'm bringing these two up together, since other than the fact that they're both authors and they did live for some of the same period of time, they would in theory have relatively little in common. In practice, however, Bram Stoker had like a really big crush on Walt Whitman. In 1876, Bram Stoker wrote a nice little letter to Walt Whitman telling him how much he admired his work as well as admired him as a person. That letter is not the one I'm reading to you today. Enclosed with that letter was another letter, one that he had written in 1872 that he had never sent. It was significantly longer, significantly less formal, and I need as many people to hear it as possible because it is amazing. The letter just sorta starts. It doesn't have a Dear Mr. Whitman, Dear Walt Whitman, nothing. It just goes straight into this. If you are the man I take you to be, you will like to get this letter. If you are not, I don't care whether you like it or not, and only ask that you put it into the fire without reading any farther. But I believe you will like it. I don't think there is a man living, even you, who are above the prejudices of the class of small-minded men, who wouldn't like to get a letter from a younger man, a stranger, across the world, a man living in an atmosphere prejudiced to the truths you sing and your manner of singing them. The idea that arises in my mind is whether there is a man living who would have the pluck to burn a letter in which he felt the smallest atom of interest without reading it. I believe you would, and that you believe you would yourself. You can burn this now and test yourself, and all I will ask for my trouble of writing this letter, which for all I can tell you may light your pipe with or apply to some other more ignoble purpose, is that you will in some manner let me know that my words have tested your impatience. Put it in the fire if you like. Seriously, do it. Burn it. I swear to God, just do it. Burn it. Burn the letter. Okay, I made that last part up. Put it in the fire if you like. But if you do, you will miss the pleasure of the next sentence, which ought to be that you have conquered an unworthy impulse. A man who is certain of his own strength might try to encourage himself a piece of bravo, but a man who can write, as you have written, the most candid words that ever fell from the lips of a mortal man, a man to whose candor Rousseau's Confessions is reticence, can have no fear for his own strength. If you have gone this far, you may read the letter, and I feel in writing now that I am talking to you. If I were before your face, I would like to shake hands with you, for I feel that I would like you. I would like to call you, all caps, comrade, and to talk to you as men who are not poets do not often talk. I think that at first a man would be ashamed, for a man cannot in a moment break the habit of comparative reticence that has become second nature to him. But I know I would not long be ashamed to be natural before you. You are a true man, and I would like to be one myself. And so I would be towards you as a brother and as a pupil to his master. In this age, no man becomes worthy of the name without an effort. You have shaken off the shackles, and your wings are free. I have the shackles on my shoulders still, but I have no wings. If you are going to read this letter any further, I should tell you that I am not prepared to give up all else so far as words go. The only thing I am prepared to give up is prejudice, and before I knew you, I had begun to throw overboard my cargo, but it is not all gone yet. Genuinely, I have no clue what else you could be talking about right now. Like, what does this mean if not that? I do not know how you will take this letter. I have not addressed you in any form, as I hear that you dislike to a certain degree the conventional forms in letters. I am writing to you because you are different from other men. You aren't like other girls. If you were the same as the mass, I would not write at all. As it is, I must either call you Walt Whitman or not call you at all, and I have chosen the latter course. I do not know whether it is unusual for you to get letters from utter strangers who have not even the claim of literary brotherhood to write you. For reference, yes, this is pre-Dracula Bram Stoker. This is before he became, a big name in literature and all that. If it is, you must be frightfully tormented with letters, and I am sorry to have written this. I have, however, the claim of liking you, for your words are your own soul, and even if you do not read my letter, it is no less a pleasure to me to write it. Shelley wrote to William Godwin, and they became friends. If the name Shelley seems familiar, it's because he's referring to Percy Shelley, who was Mary Shelley's husband. Mary Shelley, of course, writing Frankenstein. Percy Shelley was also an author in his own right and wrote a lot of stuff too. I am not Shelley, and you are not Godwin, and so I will only hope that sometime I may meet you face to face, and perhaps shake hands with you. If I ever do, it will be one of the greatest pleasures of my life. This next section, which I believe to be the most insane part of the letter, was not featured on the website I was pulling it from, so I had to use another website, so apologies for the change in font and everything. If you care to know who it is that writes this, my name is Abraham Stoker, Jr. My friends call me Bram. I live at number 43, Harcourt, St. Dublin. I am a clerk in the service of the Crown on a small salary. I am 24 years old. Have been champion at our athletic sports, Trinity College Dublin, and have won about a dozen cups. I have also been president of the College Philosophical Society and an art and theatrical critic of a daily paper. And this is where we transition from Bram Stoker's resume to Bram Stoker's Tinder profile. I am 6 feet 2 inches high and 12 stone weight naked, and used to be 41 or 42 inches round the chest. I am ugly, but strong and determined, and have a large bump over my eyebrows. I have a heavy jaw and a big mouth with thick lips, sensitive nostrils, a snub nose, and straight hair. I am equal in temper and cool in disposition, and have a large amount of self-control, and am naturally secretive to the world. I take a delight in letting people I don't like, people of mean or cruel or sneaking or cowardly disposition, see the worst side of me. I have a large number of acquaintances and some 5 or 6 friends, all of which latter body care much for me. Now I have told you all I know about myself. I know you from your works and your photograph, and if I know anything about you, I think you would like to know of the personal appearance of your correspondence. You are, I know, a keen physiognomist. I am a believer of the science myself, and am in a humble way a practicer of it. I was not disappointed when I saw your photograph, your late one in especial. As much as I do think this is at least partially just Bram Stoker calling Walt Whitman hot, he is unfortunately referring to the practice of physiognomy in this case. Physiognomy is a debunked fake pseudoscience, which is all about the idea that you can tell someone's character traits based on their appearance, specifically certain things about how their head is shaped. Physiognomy is often associated with racism, because a lot of racists used it as justification for their beliefs. They would look at the shape of a non-white person's head and say, oh, you see their, sloped brow over here? That means they're stupid and dumb, and that I'm better than them. Which is obviously, a massive pile of bullshit. As far as I'm aware, Walt Whitman's not a huge racist or anything. I could be wrong, please tell me in the comments. It's just that at this point in history, physiognomy was considered a valid field of science for some reason. So some people believed it regardless of whether they were using it to justify being terribly racist or not. And that was your little history lesson on physiognomy. Anyway, back to the letter. The way I came to you was this. A notice of your poems appeared some 2 years ago or more in Temple Bar magazine. I glanced at it and took its dictum as final, and laughed at you among friends. I say it to my own shame, but not to regret, for it has taught me a lesson to last my life out, without ever having seen your poems. More than a year after, I heard 2 men in college talking of you. One of them had your book, Rossetti's edition. I love that he specifies the edition. And was reading aloud some passages at which both laughed. They chose only those passages which are most foreign to British ears, and made fun of them. Something struck me that I had judged you hastily. I took home the volume and read far into the night. Since then, I have to thank you for many happy hours, for I have read your poems with my door locked late at night. And I have read them on the seashore, where I could look all round me and see no more sign of human life than the ships out at sea. And here I often found myself waking from a reverie with the book open before me. I love all poetry, and high, generous thoughts make the tears rush to my eyes. But sometimes a word or phrase of yours takes me away from the world around me and places me in an ideal land surrounded by realities more than any poem I ever read. Last year, I was sitting on the beach of a summer's day, reading your preface to The Leaves of Grass, as printed in Rossetti's edition, for Rossetti is all I have got till I get the complete set of your works, which I have ordered from America. One thought struck me, and I pondered over it for several hours. The weather-beaten vessels entering new ports. You who wrote the words know them better than I do. And to you who sing of your land of progress, the words have a meaning that I can only imagine. But be assured of this, Walt Whitman, that a man of less than half your own age, by the way, reared a conservative in a conservative country, and who has always heard your name cried down by the great mass of people who mention it, here felt his heart leap towards you across the Atlantic, and his soul swelling at the words, or rather, the thoughts. Again, literally, what else could he be talking about? What else could he have possibly meant by this? It is vain for me to quote in instances of what thoughts of yours I like best, for I like them all, and you must feel you are reading the true words of one who feels with you. You see, I have called you by your name. I have been more candid with you, have said more about myself to you than I have said to anyone before. You will not be angry with me if you have read so far. You will not laugh at me for writing this to you. I'm laughing a little bit. It was with no small effort that I began to write, and I feel reluctant to stop, but I must not tire you anymore. If you would ever care to have more, you can imagine, for you have a great heart, how much pleasure it would be to me to write more to you. How sweet a thing it is for a strong, healthy man with a woman's eye and a child's wishes to feel that he can speak to a man who can be, if he wishes, father and brother and wife to his soul. I legitimately don't think there is a plainer way to put it when you're writing this in an era where you will still be arrested for being gay. I don't think you will laugh, Walt Whitman, nor despise me. But at all events, I thank you for all the love and sympathy you have given me in common with my kind, Bram Stoker. And with that, I hope you understand why it is I felt the need for everyone to see this. And for the record, as much as I've been poking fun at this because I do find this letter both utterly insane and incredibly hilarious, I also think it's very beautiful.